It didn't take all that.
Right.
Okay, you play this song. And I couldn't do it because it required movement.
I see.
It required lilting, as she called it. It required stride techniques.
Absolutely.
But she taught you, didn't she?
She made sure.
Yes.
I still got handprints to the back of my neck.
Yes.
Yes. No, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd be in the house practicing. She'd come in, and she'll start purposely singing in keys like D.
Yeah.
Follow me.
Okay.
Today's musicians train themselves, or they seek after the training they want based on a sound that they go after.
Exactly.
We didn't have that privilege coming up. You couldn't play. You had to sit there and wait. And then when you got a chance to play, if you couldn't prove yourself, you sat back down. But it wasn't as many churches as it is either.
Yeah.
So there's a
Sharon,
huge opportunity.
Sharon Ware on Facebook says today's musicians have better technology.
Yeah.
She says, so Walter, if you're referring to Christian music skills today, a lot of them are not anointed. The anointing is what counts, in my opinion. That's what she says.
No.
Oh yes, and Calvin Bridges. I remember he called me to ask me to be the musician for his group. The gospel was the Chicago
Praise Ensemble.
Praise Ensemble. This was in the 90s. Okay, I still was trying to figure out my craft. Okay,
Was that before me or after
if
me?
that was, I think it might have been after you.
I don't know. I only played a few minutes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What? Yeah, you don't remember.
No, I used to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Quaker Oats and gospel.
Oh yeah, and I
tracks,
think
That was later.
Yeah, and I think your church around
Good old Quaker Oats.
Yeah.
90, and yeah, and right,
Ghost was like 97, 98.
absolutely.
No,
And
it was earlier because I
It was
wasn't married
earlier
yet.
than that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats was like 91, 92.
That's right.
That was earlier. 90.
yeah,
Okay, 98.
yeah, that's right.
20 years ago.
Because I did the Quaker Oaks in '91 with Bobby Jones. That was '91. Yeah. Right. That's D, y'all. That's D. So watch this, Calvin. I would sit at the piano. Okay, and then that church was on Stony Island. Okay, and I would play. And I would play it my own way, okay? And you would stop me every time. What are you doing? And I would say, well, this sounds good. He says, yeah, it may sound good to you, but it's not good. It's not good.
Thanks,
Right,
Calvin.
right.
I heard it too.
Okay, well, to really draw on what you're saying now, the reason that I asked Alvin in the beginning, in the middle of what he was saying, but your mother taught you, we have a critical analysis of today's church musician.
Yeah.
But I want to say strongly that there are not enough people teaching them.
Okay.
And there's
God,
not
would not be
enough
tough.
pastors requiring that they learn to play a hymn so that the introduction is recognizable.
Yes. Yes.
So we give these guys so many accolades and these young men and women so many accolades because we're hungry to have anybody.
Yeah.
But it's necessary to teach them what it is that they need to know in order that they can grow.
I see.
It's in jazz.
I was very fortunate in my coming up because I came up on the traditional. I came up in the Methodist Church, in the Church of God in Christ, listening to the hymns in the Baptist Church, early Baptist Church, listening to the hymns, hearing the hymns. Even the Dr. Watts, which I was like totally sick of until I became a teenager.
Yes.
I learned what the song was
had to
about
learn it.
and what the story
That's
was.
foundation.
Now I love it.
Oh, God.
Because
It'll bring
I love
you
the
over.
Lord, he heard my cry.
Yeah.
Pitted my every
As
groan.
long as I live,
And
otherwise
trouble
I'll
rise.
hasten to his throne. Well, I understand it now, but we're not teaching them enough. And it's the same way with all of the crime and the things that are going on. We don't have, a young man came to me last night. We were at Patillo's. And I said, young man, God knows if you lying or not. He said that he didn't know who his daddy was, that his mother was on drugs. And would I give him some money to get some food? Yeah. So I gave him some money. But we have a generation of that's going on now, and it's real.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we really have to learn how to mentor again and to embrace our young people and not just tell them how great they are and be willing to
False celebration.
push them on to, it's wonderful to appreciate them and to encourage them, yes, but teach them something also.
You know what?
Go ahead.
To answer your question, I think today I observe a lot. You have to, to stay, in the industry, you have to do a lot of observation.
Surely.
And there is more skill, but less talent.
Okay.
Right? I can teach anybody how to play an instrument, but that does not mean they possess the talent, right? So all of the young kids now, you can give a pair of sticks to any kid now, they can play, they can do some riffs. But like you said, I can't tell you how many times, especially with us, if we go to a church, whatever, a funeral, whatever, and they go to a hymn, everybody's looking at us because we have to go and take over because they can't play the hymn because that takes talent. You can't teach certain things. Now, there's a lot of you got a lot of kids now. The problem with musicians now is that they're lazy. And they don't want to learn the foundation. They show me the tricks.
It's not
show
required.
me how to thump.
It's not required.
Exactly.
Sure.
Show me how to thump. And Pennal, remember when he was a young man, they used to call me Thunder Thumps. And I can't tell you how many, show me how to thump, show me how to thump. I was like, but then when the choir got up, they couldn't play because they wanted to learn all the tricks. And that's lazy. You got to learn your foundation first.
You got to learn your foundation and also
Exactly.
learn what's appropriate for when.
Exactly.
Placement is
That's
definitely.
And let's just
Yeah.
face it, a lot of people are just musicians. They're just they're what I call garage band musicians, and that's all they'll ever be. They're not true musicians. So you in some ways we're trying to give talent to where it's not. It's just skills. And YouTube is full of guys that's skilled, but they really don't have the talent level of a true musician.
And at some point, I'd like to interject something about that gift aspect. But Pennal, go ahead, please.
My thought in that question, I agree with Larry. My thought, and I grew up like this, and the first definition I'll explain, I've always cared about who I played for and who I played to.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I cared about the person who I played for because I wanted to have a friend.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only child. I was surrounded by a bunch of cousins, but when your dad is not in the house,
Right.
you want to feel a part of something. And then I cared about the people that I played for, like the audience, because it made me feel good if I played something that made them smile. And
Yeah, for the longest, I thought you was a peel.
yeah,
Them peels
We
are some-
did. We
Don't
did.
remember? Those
now,
peels.
now we got to tell
Them
the
some-
audience who the peel is.
It's a
That's-
group. It's a
yeah.
they're like the Jones brothers.
Yes.
It's the Peels. It's a whole
yeah.
family of ridiculously talented.
Oh yeah, and
musicians.
there's one of the pastors now.
Yeah.
The, What's
Rex Peel.
Rex Peel.
Rex
Pastor Rex
Peel.
Peel.
Yo, you know, yeah.
And to talk further, I think the thirst for, let me say this, what's missing, well, let me just say this before I can put it in order. I think it's how selfish a person can be. When I think of a person that's all over the place, that's a busy musician, and they're really playing for their peers, that person is selfish.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's a good way.
Yeah.
I will only agree to that again if they have not been taught.
Oh yeah, I was
to be
gonna.
selfish.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. It's like
to play in an ensemble. That's something we don't necessarily teach
Right.
because everybody go for you
Right.
jam wherever you can jam and you jam
Right.
it, but to play as an ensemble and
But
you
he
hear?
he knows that when you're in a groove, let's say PJ in a groove, because me and him have actually played two basses at one time. Remember that?
yeah,
And the thing about that is when you're playing with a group or when you're playing with a worship leader or you're behind it, your job, I don't care what instrument you play, is to bring out and uplift who the lead is, right?
That's right.
So you're supposed to be able to flow with them. If they change, I don't care what the music says. I don't care what you rehearse.
Yep.
You're supposed to be able to feel that they're going to make a left instead of a right. I feel it in my spirit, and you're supposed to be in line with them and go right there with them.
So is that a talent or a gift?
That's a gift. That's
All
a
right.
gift. But
Look at Calvin.
but exactly, you're right. I agree with you. But the talent, even a talented musician should have the wherewithal to say,
Yeah.
you know what, Pennal is soloing, right? And if I just stick this groove right here, he can cut loose. And so I'm not supposed to be soloing on top of him.
And if you don't, that's selfish.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
right.
selfish.
That is
And that's
selfish.
the selfishness.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
It's the selfishness is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It is. And so if my gigs are long-term gigs. If I'm on a gig, I'm there long-term because you develop a relationship with who you are, and they trust you.
So I'm thinking that part of that selfishness as a musician also has to do with a bit of immaturity.
Absolutely.
A lot of
That's
it,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Or
Respecting
it could be
playing with.
or it could be like an exaggerated wanting of somebody they want to be a part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was going to say about, we can teach, it's different levels of approaching a younger musician and grooming them to be a benefit to the world. As, a musical artist, I think first, before the instrument, I think it's important to get to the person.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to me, at least, because if I feel good about myself, then I don't have to try to hurt somebody else so that I can be built.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And in addition to, in addition to, there's training in character, and then there's training on the instrument, and then actually there's another training in placement, and there's another training in how to be a professional. To me, professional is sticking to your word.
Absolutely.
I encounter a lot of
And doing the job you're hired for.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good stuff.
Exactly. And I come across sometimes a lot of musicians, they'll take a gig, but if something else comes up,
come on now.
they'll call you. If he's halfway decent, or he or she is halfway decent, they'll call you like maybe a week before. But I've had cats call and say, well, I'm no longer available to do this. And it's like, what happened to your word? And that's one thing. When I was playing for Mother LaVanya Whitley, when I came up under her, she was known as Sister Whitley. I don't know what she's at. I know she's a mother, I think.
She's mother, right.
Okay. And she told me one thing. She said, Pennal, always keep your word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, brother, I had a musician that I took all the way to Europe with a limited amount of rehearsal who promised me that they was going to learn the material. Only learned part of the material. But when I would only pay part of the money, they wanted to have a whole attitude.
Oh yeah, they do that, and that's a whole nother. That
wasn't me, y'all.
And that's the immaturity. That's maturity.
It was nobody in this room, but it's amazing. It's amazing to me what people.
I still want the other half of my money,
themselves.
Man. Yeah,
I said but you didn't learn the music,
Right?
Exactly.
But you want all the money,
Right.
Yeah, and it comes. That's another thing that's mixed with laziness.
That is.
And selfishness.
That is.
And
it's part of being a musician. If you're not going to learn the material, to me, you're not a musician.
Yeah.
To me, you're not a musician.
Yeah.
you're certainly not professional.
I can't tell you, and Walter
Go
knows.
ahead.
I can't tell you how many inboxes I have. I have a group called Musicians 100, and you're a part of it, and it's just performing, touring musicians. And I can't tell you how many times I'm inboxed, probably once a week. We need an organist. We need a drummer. We need a bass player. Come by, one service, $300. This $500. This. I mean, it's
okay.
It's. I mean, but you know what? I came to the point where I don't answer a lot of them. I say I'm sorry, because if I don't know the music, because for two reasons. One is most of the musicians I know, they're locked down. They're already busy. But the other one is, if it's some of the younger cats, I don't care how good a musician they are they going to be there on time?
All right. Listen, we got to get to this break. Man, this is good. This second hour that we're going to go to, we're going to construct a song.
Okay.
We all going to construct a song, okay? And we're going to teach the people how to write a hit song. So we got some heavy hitters here. Okay. In this room, we have almost 5,000 songs written. I've written 1,500. You've got 1,000. So we've got about 5,000 songs in this room. So we can't come out with a song today. There's a problem. There's a keyboard in the corner. Let's go at it. Y'all ready? This is You Being Praised, the Sir Walter Jones Show.
Wednesday.
Worried about paying